morning, TFR.
Good morning.
Hi, this is Alan. I like Ironworx because it's where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came.
I love Ironworx with Josh, Walt and Zach. It's like sitting in your front room having a cosy chat with your best friends.
Hi, it's Diva here, and I just want you to know that Ironworx with Josh, Walt and Zach, it's definitely my favourite dose of reality. Come join the family and keep it flat.
Why sleep in when you could get your dose of iron in the morning? Listen to the Ironworx on TFR.
This is Enlightened Dawn. Roses are red, violets are blue. Iron Rail Media is the best on the plane. To this show, I will forever be true. You guys are truly the best, and I love you guys. I'm so thankful to have you in my life.
Do you like listening to space letters from Never a Straight Answer? Then tune in to The Ironworx with Zach, Walter, and Josh. Break clear of the fear on the Ironworx and become an Iron Scout.
Wake up! It's Friday! The iron you need to get what you want.
It's Friday, my dudes.
Man, I got some fat fingers pressing too many buttons at once. Good morning. Happy Friday, everybody. Welcome to the Ironworx right here on Truth Frequency Radio. My name is Josh Corey. And we have a pretty laid-back show for you, I think. I don't know. We'll just see what happens. You never can tell. Let's jump right in and say hello to the fellas. Starting off with one Mr. Zachary Zabala. Z squared. Or you may know him on YouTube as Good Times for All. GUDTIMS number 4. ALL. Zach, how are you doing?
Hey, Josh. Hello, everybody out there. How do Walt? Oh, it's like a Christmas Eve right now for me.
Ooh.
I want to open this freezer so bad. It'll be 48 hours at 4 o'clock this afternoon.
I'll be real curious to see what that looks like.
See what happens. Oh yeah, I'll be videoing this one because last time, I am freezing distilled water around magnets and cups and seeing what happens. It's real neat. You put water in a freezer. If you don't move it or disturb it at all in any way, it stays like perfectly crystal clear, even though it's colder than the freezing point. And as soon as the air from the outside just disturbs that water a little bit, when you open that freezer door, it'll all flash freeze almost instantly. And I actually got a little like finger sticking out of the water to flash freeze. I'll show you some pictures this evening. But yeah, I saw Ken Wheeler do this with magnets, and it's so cool looking. I'm gonna try to make hemispherical domes without any type of material, just naturally. So I don't know. I'm kind of out of it still. Sorry.
So you're just taking water, some distilled water, and dropping a magnet in it, and then putting that in the freezer?
Yep.
Nice. So I wonder.
Ken Wheeler's got some crazy pictures that he found doing this. So I want to try it.
Now, does it matter the polarity of how you drop the magnet in?
Yes, one will make say you were to cut an egg in half, but where it's like equal sized, kind of like one would be a perfect dome and the other one would be like a more oval type dome.
Gotcha.
If you were to do it and suspend it in the middle of the glass, it would look like there was an egg in the center of the glass, like a clear egg. Yeah, I'll put together a little video showing what I'm trying to do and then showing what I've done so far, and then we'll do the opening of the... Yeah, it's weird. I've never been so excited to open a freezer. That's enough about me. Let's get over here and say hi to another gentleman I know is sitting there.
Yes, let's. Let's say hello to one Mr. Walter Johnson. You may know him as Flat Earth Head here on YouTube. Or if you are a Twitterer, you can find him at Facebone777. Because he's always over there battling the bikini stains. Walter, how you doing?
Good morning. Oh, sorry. Grand Rising, Josh. I'm trying here, people. I'm trying to reshape my vocabulation. And I'm also trying to be real. I feel like a guy out in the morning early, and he's got his line out in the water, and the cork just bobbed, and I'm waiting for it to bob again. I know y'all don't have a clue what I'm talking about. Daz says he can call us on the flat line if we would like. So we're going to get that happening, Daz, because we've been trying to talk to you on this show and our other show for, I don't know, 5 years, 4 years. So we're going to make that happen. Shh, be quiet. Don't let him get off the hook. But yes, Josh and Zach, I'm doing fine. I'm glad you guys are here. I'm glad everybody's here, both on TFR and on YouTube and wherever else we are. I can't really get into the Restream with Josh anymore. We've learned that when I do things behind the scenes with it, it causes Restream to restart sometimes, and we don't want that to happen, so I'm going to stay out. I'm over there on YouTube, though, and, of course, the TFR chat. I'm excited about your magnets, man. If I was there, I'd be just like you. Be like a kid waiting for those freezer pops to freeze in the middle of summer. I couldn't. Yeah, that's awesome. I don't have one strong enough. The ones I have are just kiddie magnets. I'm going to have to order something to do what you're doing. Plus, I have too many people in my house for water to stay undisturbed anywhere in a freezer. Anyway, but yep, it's been an interesting week. Lots going on out there in the world. We are going to be keeping our eyes on the call board because we not only hopefully we'll be hearing from Daz here in a few. We have potential call from some people I met in Beth Martin's chat with Rose yesterday afternoon. Some people called in. They had open phone lines, and it was pretty amazing. Some of the folks that called with some of the stories they shared. I don't want to spoil anything. I don't want to, just trust me. When they do call in, which I did have email contact with one of them, it will be worth the wait. Teaser. Anyway, I'll shut up. Josh, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing all right. Things have been really quiet, which is just how I like them.
It's always nice.
Mm-hmm. Work's going pretty good. We've actually been playing around with some frozen stuffs as well. We've been building a prototype. I'll just leave it at that. But the pins that go inside this prototype that we're building have to be shrunk first. Then you put them in cold, and as they expand with the room temperature, they'll actually lock in and hold tight. We tried freezing them with dry ice yesterday. Got it down to about negative 170, but just wasn't quite enough to shrink the whole pin because it's a solid piece of metal, and it's just not cold enough to get it down as small as it wants. So we're going to switch over and try to use some liquid nitrogen.
Nice.
Yeah, so that ought to be fun. So with OSHA and everything, I'm going to require some training for the handling of liquid nitrogen. So I have that to look forward to, so we'll get to play around with some fun stuffs and see what happens there.
Just watch Terminator 2. You'll be covered.
I pulled off about 25 jalapenos off the plant last night, so that's good.
Nice.
Got about 10 or 12 great big old zucchinis. We've managed to get at least a half a dozen good full-sized green peppers this year, which is, I think, the first year we've gotten a decent green pepper haul, so that's real nice. Our snap peas finally went tits up. I don't know if we just lost them due to age or that seemed pretty young, but they all just kind of turned brown. I don't know if it was an early onset root rot or what was going on with that, but we did get several good servings of snap peas out of it.
Make sure to take all those plants, just chop them up into little pieces and put them right back into your soil.
I think I'm going to burn these.
Anything with
balloons make a lot of nitrogen. A lot of nitrogen. And you might lose some of that in the fire. So yeah, that's pantaloons. I always just cut them up a little bit and then just bury them right into the ground before the winter, and they'll be gone by spring. Lots of nitrogen. Just a thought.
Might have to do that. I got them all saved up, jammed up into my burn barrel, my little fire pit, the tub of an old washing machine that I took out and dressed up a little bit, used to burn firewood and stuff in. I can drag them all out of there, cut them up, and rotate them back into the soil. We're still thinking about getting a late plant in, or maybe just jump right in and see if we can't prep it up for some fall planting. See what we can get stuck in there.
About those first plants that didn't quite make it, Haley had the same situation here with sunflowers of all things, which, I mean, I've had sunflowers sprout under birdseed bells just happen, boom. So it's not real easy to mess up a sunflower, generally, from the years of growing them with my grandma and my aunts and all that. So the one she had just looked really weird, and I'm sure there's a basic reason for it, but I've heard you talk about having a few that didn't work out. My son and his family, they do the zucchinis and the peppers, and she was saying that she had some issues with some that just didn't grow right, that looked wrong. So 3 things going through my head with that. It could be that, as we all know, they're fricking around with the genomes and everything. 3rd generations out, it won't reproduce. That's probably most of the problem, is they're genetically fucking with everything. But we also have shit on it, just constantly on it, being precipitated from the sky, regardless of whether there's raining or not. There's shit misting down on us pretty much all the time. And I've seen videos of people with their plants having these weird molds that have no explanation, and their car, their house, just weird things that seem to be occurring with the strange weather, with the weird shit falling out of the sky. That's 2. Now add this 3rd one. We all have been tiptoeing around this reset event, this plasma event, this electromagnetic event that seems to be historically repeated over and over, and seems to be showing signs in the skies above us, which is why they seem to be trying to really ramp up their speed on all the shit that's happening right now. So, just throwing all out there. Good morning. How are you all?
Now, I saw a guy talking about Jupiter or something or other going crazy out of orbit. I cannot find anything, but the guy had 160,000 subs.
You can't find it now?
No, I can find him talking about it, but I can't find
him talking about
anybody else talking about it at all. Yeah.
We have this Neowise thing that's happening right now. We have that just snuck in on us. Ooh, where'd that come from? And I don't know. I don't know, obviously. And I definitely will be open to any answers and possibilities, and I've been down quite a few rabbit holes looking at some of this stuff lately. I think, did you tell me about red mercury already, Zach?
No, I don't think. I know somebody was talking about it.
Who was that?
Martin.
Was it Martin?
I think it was Martin.
Okay, because I went looking for that too, and then found a video about it that I think UAP channel had put out. And I had some questions about the video, and then when I went looking for info, again, I've just been down some deep rabbit holes lately. I'm all scattered, got too many things I'm going to play with all these videos. But definitely just interesting stuff going on. Chemically, alchemically, electromagnetically.
That Maxwell, the guy who wrote Maxwell's equations, was a big giant fraud. That kind of was a shot across my bow. I wasn't expecting that. Yeah, the whole ionosphere of Earth should not exist. That's what I've been trying to figure out for like a month. Like information on how you create, an electric field out of nothing. Considering Earth is supposed to be, in a vacuum, 93 million miles away from the sun. And an electric field cannot exist in a vacuum. We can't make an electric field in a vacuum experimentally. But he took one of Ampere's laws when he switched it over and said, okay, now it can work in a vacuum because I added these little squiggly lines and these couple letters right here with no experimentation whatsoever. And Gauss's law even says you can't have an electric field in a vacuum. So Maxwell's equations contradict each other for over 100 years. There's only like 3 papers I can find bringing this up now. Now that I know where to look, there was a couple in the late one in 1890 something, one in like 1916 or 17, and then 2012.
That's nutty.
That is so disturbing. How many of these physics professors have a fucking clue what they're talking about? I don't think any of them do. They see all the squiggly letters and they memorize how to put them in order, and they have no clue what it actually means.
Well, that's not required.
I concur, sir. Indeed.
But we do have a
Yeah,
caller.
it pissed me off. Sorry.
So we do have a caller on the line.
Oh, nice.
I believe we are finally, the planets have aligned and we are joined by Daz. Good morning, Daz. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. Can you hear me okay?
A little quiet, but that's all right. Not that big of a deal.
Yeah, we hear you.
You okay now?
Yep. That'd be good.
All right, yeah, I'm in my garage. It's my new favorite place to be.
A man's castle.
Good morning, Daz. Glad to hear from you at last, my friend.
Yeah, I had to wait until it was the greatest moment of my life to be on this show that would pretty much top everything off.
Oh, really? Well, you have to share it, man.
You have my undivided attention.
Okay, cool. Okay, so you've seen The Running Man and They Live, right?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Two of the coolest movies ever. If you're into that type of apocalyptic stuff, and I totally am, and I always have been, right? So never in my entire life have I ever felt more like right at that point where we're just about to blow up the transmitters and, like strapping all our guns on, and we're going to storm them, and then the veil will be lifted, and, mankind will be free, and, Rowdy Roddy Piper saves the day. Never felt more like that. Always wanted to. I've always been like, put the fucking glasses on, man. Sorry, I'll not say. I've always been at that stage where, like, man, you got to put the glasses on. You got to be able to see. It's like, but now everybody sees. So this next step, okay, now we're going to blow up the transmitter so that we can do the next thing. And just last night, I just randomly, I'm like just randomly searching for all this mud flood stuff because it seems to be utterly fascinating to me in so many ways, and I can explain why. But I was just searching for the mud flood guest, Martin, right? Martin Liebke, I guess. He's got my undivided attention, other than you guys. You're my team.
Without a doubt.
And it's just led me down this other rabbit hole, but it's been so fucking enjoyable to go down the rabbit hole because it's literally tied all this crap together. It's like I have done a whole ton of cool new art. I got a whole new direction, and I got a whole new motivation. And so, and the one little tiny little conspiracy thing that really just tipped it over the edge, the peak of the whole trip, right? Because sooner or later it's gonna, like flat Earth. It's like, I get it, I agree, I can't disprove it. It's a thing, but I'm still here. I'm still wearing my Iron Maiden T-shirt. I'm not transmuting into a rainbow body and singing Kumbaya with David Wilcock on the magical mountain or anything. I don't even want to. That's the whole thing. I don't want to do any of that shit. I don't want to be that enlightened. I don't have to. All I got to be is just be me, right? That's my philosophy. Am I talking too much? I just drank a bunch.
No, I love it, Daz. You got me pumped, man.
Yeah, do it. Run with it, Daz. I just wanted to say, if I could interrupt you real quick, I just wanted to thank you for all your support throughout the years. I really do appreciate it. And so glad to have you finally call in.
Yes, indeed. Indeed. Daz owns one of the first T-shirts we ever had put out there. I've seen it on him.
Yep, and I tie-dyed it. And I wore it into my call center supervisor job, and nobody knew what it meant, and I didn't even care.
I'm about to order a handful of white ones just to tie-dye them.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I haven't done that art form this spring through summer. It's like, it's been the best. Literally is the best apocalypse ever. But I can't say that it's the best apocalypse for a new generation, because someone's already coined the phrase "best apocalypse ever." So I'm the best apocalypse for a new generation. I'm competing in terms of my meme brand there. Why? Because I'm an American. Goddammit. That's what we do.
That's right.
That's right.
All right, so I got. If you don't mind, I want to finish the point about Martin Liedtke and how last night was the peak of the whole trip.
Oh yeah.
Yes, please. I can't wait to see where this lands.
Sorry.
Yeah, please go. I can't wait to hear the end.
Oh, okay, cool. All right, so you've seen like Lost, right? Yeah, I don't know if you're fans of Lost when it was actually an experience rather than just you could binge watch it, where you actually got this thought of think about all the different things, like what if, this time travel is, there was a sweet spot, and probably in lots of other type of mystery shows where you're truly engaged in it and it just makes your whole day better. So imagine that type of experience. That's the peak when you're really enjoying it. You're looking forward to next week, right? That's the peak of the experience, because eventually it comes to the end or a climax or whatever, and then you're like, oh, that was great. You want to watch it again? Or it's a Game of Thrones type thing where you're like, fuck, that fucking sucks. I wish I'd never even started the fucking thing, right? So, and I kept, this deep in my mind of like in the whole Mud Flood Tartaria thing, which has really been enjoyable to this experience really for the first time since you guys' show. And then you had Martin on again as an unexpected guest, so I was kind of like engaged in figuring the whole thing out. I was like, I think I got it figured out, and it's fine. But I'm at that peak. Because last night I saw a theory from 2 years ago. 2 years ago, someone said, yeah, those 5G towers, that's what's going to liquefy the soil. And then that's what's going to cause the mudslide. I'm like, oh, my God, you're tying in this conspiracy theory? And it's like, I don't even care on that one. It's like, that's old news. It's like NASA, hey, there's a spaceship error. It's like, who cares? We know it's space. It's like, it's not even... That's fucking interesting. It's like the NASA is lying. It's like, yeah, I know. It's like, it's fun to point it out, but it's not a mystery or anything. That we've already passed that point where it was enjoyable. I mean, there's still plenty to explore, and I'm not saying that one conspiracy theory is better than the other. But you know what I'm saying? That we passed that point. We know that it's the final season of Lost, and it's like, well, what's going to happen? Are they going to defund NASA because it's obviously fake? Who the hell knows? I mean, when's the bubble going to pop? And here is a point. It's like, why are people trying to preserve the knowledge? There's going to be a reset. We're all going to be, we're going to have to live underground and be beamed back in bodies and come out of crystal palaces and repopulate the earth again. We got to save this information. It's like, no, we don't. We don't need to save it. We're only here for the experience. We're here for this immediate, intimate experience with reality as we're creating it. It's like, I swear to God, everything, my fantasies, my dreams, my connection with my dad, a book my dad writes, the same shit. My dad that I haven't seen in like 40 years, all of a sudden this connects to it. All of my art connects to it. And so, I mean, it just has this epiphany. But it's the closest epiphany, and I'm almost done, and I'll just answer your questions after this. But it's the closest I ever felt to that story of Philip K. Dick where he sees the fish and has that, you know that story. Philip K. Dick is, he has this epiphany, and he like time travels in an instant, and and it changes his direction. But at the same time, he's also the guy in A Scanner Darkly, where he's a drug addict and all this terrible stuff. Sounds ominous, but it's like the real world and the failings someone who is also enlightened, which suggests that you're just here to be a human being with its highs and lows and its good and bad. So
a lesson.
That's about it, I guess.
Yeah, we're just learning. It's like kind of like school. We're coming here to learn something.
Hey,
but yeah, that's beautiful, man.
Right?
I wanted to give a quick shout out to the Adam Meakin. Just a quick shout out to the Adam Meakin, who is sitting in chat right now.
No doubt.
Hey, Mr. Meakin.
Hey, I hear break music. Daz, can you hang on to the line there for a few minutes while we pay a few bills and come back for sure. Talk to the Iron Realm, long time family member. We'll be right back.
It's amazing how people have been raving about ILife all over Facebook. They've been posting their testimonials just because they want to get the word out because it's worked so well for them. If you're not familiar with ILife, it's a 99% pure CBD oil, but the secret is the synergy between the hemp and the ayahuasca vine, the non-psychoactive component of the ayahuasca tea. We recently received an email from a wife whose husband has Parkinson's. For the first time, he's been able to sleep through the entire night. Another customer reported that they're no longer using NSAIDs because their tennis elbow has been relieved with ILife. The reports have been phenomenal and much more than we ever expected. Everyone should have access to this. That's why if you head on over to ILife.com right now and use coupon code TFR, we'll give you $5 towards your order. And we'll even ship it worldwide. That's ILife.com, AYA life.com.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7, with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
If you have hard water, the Lime Scale not only leaves white spots, it clogs pipes and breaks down appliances, costing you hundreds of dollars in energy and wear. Eliminate Lime Scale and other water issues like brown staining and bad odors with HydroCare water products, available from Wave Home Solutions. Wave's affordable water systems don't use salts or chemicals. You'll love the way your water tastes, smells, and looks. Satisfaction guaranteed. For more information, go to bestwater123.com. That's bestwater123.com.
Hey everyone, it's Mark Sargent from Strange World, broadcasting live every Tuesday evening, 10 to 12 Eastern, 7 to 9 Pacific, right here on True Frequency Radio. Strange World covers a wide range of topics, from enclosed world theory to lunar waves to the end of the world in film. It's basically doomsday with a silver lining. With the audience as my co-host, we take an optimistic approach to all things conspiracy and promote confidence, hope, and humor whenever possible. If there's a topic you want us to cover or a guest you would like to see interviewed, please email me at msargent23@comcast.net. So please join me and tell your friends about Truth Frequency Radio, the leader in real radio programming, bringing you quality, cutting-edge broadcasts from around the world.
Real people, real radio. Wherever you are, make it TFR. Truth Frequency Radio.
So much to do. Welcome back to the Ironworx.
You're listening to the Ironworx on TFR. Break clear of the fear.
Sorry, I just had to throw that in there. Welcome back. We are talking, actually, with our good buddy Daz, who has graced us with his presence for the first time this morning. So, what have you been up to, Daz? You still putting out artwork?
Yeah, man, I'm working on murals in the garage. I don't know how many hundreds of square feet of dandelion fairy murals, and coming soon, my new Tartarian themed, whatever, Victorian steampunk.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, that should be good. I look forward to seeing that.
Is there a way you can raise the volume up so I can kind of hear it? I don't know how to hear it a little louder.
Yeah, I'm not sure there's a whole lot I can do on my
Even with my speaker on.
If you're on Skype, we could add you directly to the call, Daz.
And on Skype, there is no delay. There seems to be a slight delay on the call board. Yeah, you're coming in and out pretty faint.
Yeah, now suddenly we're getting you really low and high. Suddenly, it may be your internet, maybe out there in the garage. I don't know if you have a sweet spot, but that might be the problem.
Can I call you back on the flat line?
Actually, how about I just call you back? If I can copy this.
All right, perfect. Bye.
While all these technical things are being worked out, I'd just like to say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, grand rising, all of that to everyone there in the chat. So good to see you all there. I'm sure I missed a lot of people earlier that were here. And apparently if you don't participate every 2 seconds, they don't show you in the list anymore. But all the Iron Scouts and everybody in all the other formats that we have out there. Our buddy Alan was on Twitch with us. I forgot we had Twitch going. So we're everywhere, man. We're spreading it around.
Well, Daz, you hung up before I could get your number copied, but the flat line is open if you want to try that one again. It is open, and I did have you on there last time. But we are actually joined by yet another caller, one who we've not spoken to in many months. Good morning, caller.
Many, many moons and before the COVID struck.
Jesus
What
Christ.
is that, dude?
Has it really been since before COVID?
It's been a while. It's been a long time.
Yeah, I guess right at the beginning. I'm looking. 417.
Yeah, hot minute.
Yeah, right. Jesus, yeah. Right about.
I thought we talked to you while I was in Oregon, though, because you told me to start taking magnesium, which I did, sir.
Oh, yeah? How'd you make out?
I mean, I seem to be feeling, better overall, but I take a lot of supplements, so. But I definitely added it
right on.
to the mix, for damn sure. But yeah, man, good to hear from you, for sure.
You too. Do you want to, did you guys just come back from break, or are you in the second segment?
Yep. Just,
do you want to hit me up on Skype and then have me going that way? Because I can get on the mic clean.
Yeah, that'd be a lot better.
Okay. Do the Jonathan, was it Jonathan from Jersey's one you got? Or no, Jonathan M. photo?
Yep. Just Jonathan M, looks like.
Oh, geez, I don't even know. Okay, Jonathan M. it is. Yeah, that's the one.
All right, sweet. All right, yeah.
See you in a bit.
All right, bye.
All right, bye.
And I do believe we have Daz back on. Daz, can you hear us?
Yeah, I hear you fine.
Oh, good. You're
much better.
Coming in quite a bit better, too, yeah.
Oh, sweet. Yeah. I don't know. I moved my modem downstairs. It coincidentally, with my best week ever, it's like I got my old job back at more pay, and And I'm like, okay, fine. I'm like, I'll work overtime, whatever. I'll just I'll just work. I'll just shift over to work mode, and then I can do this in my spare time. But they gave me a broken computer. It was tested at the office. I drove to Indianapolis. I did training all freaking day. Drove back. It was like 8 hours driving time. I mean, it was fine. It was a nice little adventure. I'm listening to The Stand the whole time on the audiobook, right? Been listening to that audiobook for like the whole month, all the freaking time. So it's right in my wheelhouse that, Tartaria and all this other conspiracy and apocalyptic stuff is coming around, because I'm already in that frame of mind. So they give me a janky computer. I'm like, I have to send it back to them, fine. At the same time, I'm getting unemployment. After my last job laid me off, I literally didn't have to work the past month, and I ended up with more money. And I got to work on my art nonstop and grow cucumbers and just work on my can. And I ended up with more money by not working. I'm literally going to do the same job sometime in the future, but I'm making more money not doing that job because the universe loves me. It literally said, you know what the best case scenario is? How about you get the same or more money, as little as it might be compared to some people, but I'm literally doing exactly what I want to do. I'm doing this right now, exactly what I want to do. I'm working on my art with a solid direction. I could do a mural anywhere inside, and it would look fucking cool if you just give me enough time and enough money to do it, right? And oh yeah, and to top off my perfect experience, I just randomly looked at a Mark Ryden thing. I'm like, I haven't even been on Facebook. I get on Facebook, posted to some stuff, and I look at a few random pages, Iron Realm Media, the best flat earth show you've never heard of, but it's my favorite. That's it. There's a promo. And I look at Mark Ryden, and I'm like, man, your art is crap now. My art is going to be fucking better than Mark Ryden's. Is my first thought. I'm like, what the fuck? It's like it's your favorite band. It's like Iron Maiden or something. And then you haven't listened to them for a few years, and then you pick up an album again, and it sucks, and you're like, man, either I suck or they suck, and I think it's they suck, because you listen to their old shit all the time. You just don't listen to their new shit. So Mark Ryden's new shit sucks, and that guy's like a multi-bazillionaire, and everyone kisses his ass like he's the greatest artist in the world. It's like, he could be, but his pictures are getting smaller and smaller, and conversely, mine are getting bigger and bigger. It's like, I just look at the entire inside of a garage and go, I'm going to paint this like fucking Michelangelo. It's like, I can do it. It may take me 6 months, but I could do it to that level of Michelangelo finish. And this whole week I've had revelations like, Michelangelo didn't fucking design the architecture of any of this shit. That whole idea of Renaissance man is a lie. They didn't do architecture. Why waste their time? That shit was already there. It makes sense. They're just painting in all these empty blank spots. And that's my whole greatest thing. Ever since I was a child, I'm like drawing on the wall, right? You can't draw on the wall. You can't put stickers on the wall. It's like, I want to get paid to put boobs on the wall and just paint these grand landscapes and stuff, because I'm sick of modern art and everything. Robert Williams, it's like that's classical tradition in a perfectly awesome, surreal way. But it's not modern art. It isn't, your feelings of painting man's inhumanity to my feelings type things. I don't need a manifesto. It's like those Tartarian buildings. You don't need a manifesto. You don't need a story to go along with it to tell you what to think. You can just look at the fucking thing and you're going to be impressed, at least just in terms of craftsmanship. It's not the whole idea of making something beautiful and monumental. It's like Michelangelo's frescoes, monumental. You can't look at a picture on your phone of Michelangelo's frescoes and get the same effect. And a Mark Ryden sticker isn't going to give you the same effect of somebody graffitiing the inside of your garage. So the immediate now felt presence is really key to it. It's like, and you can't be, you have to be in the now moment. You have to be connected in the location. Hey, check this out. Here's my theory that ties things together. Okay, so flat Earth, right? Just a blank area. Each location on there is a set thing. It's a stationary plane. So each individual location, like a connection point, a portal, a vortex that we hear about all the time, and ley lines all connecting it. So they build something there, and maybe they build something else over it. But no matter what's there, the collective consciousness of mankind, it's like no one's ever been in front of the area where the pyramids are and had any other experience other than, hey, it's a giant pyramid, it's impressive. And that's the collective consciousness. So each area on Earth, but you don't live inside the Great Pyramid. So the area that you're at in this time frame, that's equally as important because you're creating a unique vibration for that particular area. Like the pyramids have a unique vibration for their area, and it's like nothing else is ever gonna change that vibration. Even if you bombed them, it'll still be the site where the Great Pyramids used to be, and that whole thing, it'll never go away, supposedly. Well, I'm rambling. I'll shut up.
No, you're right, bro. Man is the living soil. Where you are is important, and what you do there is important, and the frequency that you add to that region is important. I think you're on point.
It'll stay there. That frequency, I mean, when people sit in a chair for the last 6-7 years of their life, they pass away. You go back to that chair, their magnetic field is still present there. They've left a fingerprint there. And we do this with everything. Like your canvas is the wall, or mine is the ground. And when I go to build a garden, it's kind of like an art project. I'm putting so much into it, so much intent and love and care, that I know that place is going to, it's going to thrive on that energy, for depending on how much you put into it, but it's going to grow on that good energy, and everything is going to thrive around there. And I think that's our job, is to leave, signs for other people to see. Or I have this urge to build things that are going to be around for like a long time. I want to move the earth to where people are going to have to really cover it up if they don't want to see it anymore. And I think any way you can find a way to leave a message to that next generation somehow, do it.
Why?
However it is.
I just want to say, Zach, I just want to say, why do we have to leave a message? Why do we have to do anything other than just be in the now moment?
Yeah, I hear that.
Well, for what it's worth, right now in this moment, I kind of would have appreciated a bit of a boost from the generations past about what the truth really is, instead of being bombarded with brainwashing and indoctrination that I was. Leaving a message behind for the generations would have been great a few generations ago.
Would you feel more like Rowdy Roddy Piper if they knew in advance, or if you had to kick that dude's ass to put the sunglasses on him? That epic fight that's like 10 minutes long, just punching their faces nonstop into the bricks. It's like that's our journey right there. But it's epic in its struggle, and then the final resolution is probably going to be better because you had your face punched for 10 solid minutes. Roger.
I rewatched that movie recently, and I saw some things I had not noticed before, like that scene where he just puts the glasses on the first time, and he's at the newsstand freaking out, and the guy walks up and buys a newspaper and looks at him and says, "What are you looking at?" Because he's one of them. That dude is buying the newspaper filled with propaganda. He's purchasing it because he wants it. He either doesn't see the propaganda on every page, or he just wants to read those mono words on one page at a time. Does that make any sense? He carries the paper to the car, looks at Nada again, and gets in the car with this paper filled with the same propaganda that we're being fed. I just never noticed that before. Or I guess I never thought about that before. Why would he want that propaganda that we're being sucked in by?
Well, you might be overthinking it. Sorry. I think that was
onion, man. There's layers. It's an onion.
Yeah. Well, that's the fun of the whole thing. You got to figure out all these layers, and something that's important to you, it, doesn't trigger any kind of happy memory or or any inspiration to somebody else. But to me, it's like you guys really connect all these pieces for me, and it seemed to be the catalyst for a grand personal enlightenment. And I'm not turning into David Wilcock. That was my worst fear. It's like, it's like he's so perfect now. I can't get over it. It's like, you're so angry, and Ra told me not to masturbate. I'm like, oh my God, who is this guy? What happened? He had all these cool theories and predictions and stuff. Now it's like blue-headed bird people. It's like, it's scary how someone could change that much.
Yeah, it really is.
He's so perfect. I just saw him on a webcast with Daniel Brinkley, who somebody else I used to think was the real deal.
Yes, sir. Me too, man. I really did. When I met him, I was enthralled and felt like, I don't know, it was incredible. And then the next convention, he was a completely different, way darker dude. And then he's just progressively turned into, well, what he is now.
That's scary. It's like I don't want to uncover that mystery. I just hope they're okay, and but at least David Wilcock looked fine. I mean, he looked better than he ever looked, all tanned and buff and all California Ken and Barbie in his pink glorious shirt. Yeah, if I was gay, I'd be all for David Wilcock. I tried to be, but it didn't quite work. But yeah, he's healthy and happy. It's like, I don't want to burst the bubble. I don't want to prove to David Wilcock that the Earth is flat, right? I don't want to burst his bubble. Maybe it's both. Oh, hey, if you don't mind, another quick rant. Okay, so several years ago, I was living with another woman with the same name as my wife. Weirdly enough, because that's all coincidence. And I made like a mixtape of Bashar stuff, and there's a channeled alien Bashar, from the future, and he gives this great wisdom and inspiration and stuff. And then I put a background of like the Doors and Led Zeppelin and just some Beatles and some of my friends' music, and I'd listen to it, and it's about an hour long. I'd listen to it lots and lots of times. And all the stuff on there, it's like, I think I finally got it. It was about consciously manifesting your reality, with integrity. And it's like, I seem to have done it. It's like his definition of abundance is the ability to do what you want to do when you want to do it. That's literally what I've been doing all this summer. It's like, I'm home, I get to work on my art, I get to listen to you guys and think these long thoughts and uncover these mysteries while I'm working on my art. Exercising and and enjoying my right as an Illinois proud resident with its recreational marijuana. It's fine. It's
just
paradise.
Imagine it.
I don't know. I'm not complaining. This is what I would have picked if I was, if I was given a choice. It's like, I don't want the stress of living in a Mark Zuckerberg mansion and shit. I don't want to deal with that. I want to walk around and scratch my balls at him, the servant having to catch me and then be all embarrassed. Like, this is perfect. Okay, I'm done.
Yeah, just imagine if that's how it was your whole life. Like, you had to do maybe like 4 hours a day of work. And then you had the other 20 hours every day. If there wasn't money, and you didn't have to worry about all that nonsense. And, you know, everybody has a house, everybody has electricity and clean water, and food is free. That's how it should be. Those should be, in 2020, those should be, you know, a right as a human being on this earth. We have the resources, we have the technology. There's houses out there already that are just sitting empty for years. So just imagine if all that stuff was free, your whole life could have been like that if it wasn't for the system that they set up.
Yeah,
so
that's part
I'm
of
hoping
the
we're on
system
that
for
right
me.
path. I think if we got rid of money, that would solve so many problems and issues. You wouldn't have people trying to be a doctor just to make money. You would have people being doctors because they are good people and they want to help other people. You know, it would change so much about what professions people went into and things like that.
We could barter.
And all the bean counters out there, they would have to get real jobs.
But what if
So there'd be
everybody wanted
all
to
these
barter for
extra people to
watermelons?
help.
What if everybody just wants to barter for watermelons, though, Zach? Because everybody really likes watermelons. So now the trick is just accumulate as many watermelons as you want. But Jesus Christ, how are you going to carry around all those watermelons? Surely we can create some sort of sigil or something that would represent how many watermelons we have that we could just carry around with us.
And so the cycle begins again.
Wait, you can put chickens in a bag. I've seen it. Man, you're right. It's just a mad cycle over and over and over. But truly, herding us into cities and creating this.
Why do you need all those watermelons at one time? Sorry, Walt.
Because I've got a family to look after. I really like watermelons.
Yeah,
I would
but
like
you
to
guys
have watermelons
can't
to
eat.
share with my community. The people around me, my friends, my neighbors, they like watermelons. You know how good I look when I'm just handing out watermelons to people?
juice
People
it.
love me for handing out watermelons.
Juice it. And look, Elsie King knows. Juice it. It's a
Well,
lot easier.
they've elected me as their leader, and they want me to get all these watermelons. I don't personally want all these watermelons, but a majority of them said, hey, Josh, I want you to get as many watermelons for us as I can. So here I am trying to collect watermelons, but I can't carry them all around.
Yeah,
Well
it
stated,
seems
sir.
like.
But if you got bioregions, there's certain areas the watermelons grow really sweet in, and certain areas they don't grow so sweet in. Because if you eat a watermelon from Sugartown, Louisiana, you eat one from anywhere in Oregon. So yeah, it's all about areas, and if certain areas focus on what they should be doing with their regions, it can all work. And all you watermelon fuckers, we'll deal with you later.
Yeah.
We'll put you in a big room and have bars so you can't get.
Well, Flat Fact in chat says, money as we know it probably only existed since the 1850s. So if you think there was a massive reset, as much as there is pointing to that fact, somewhere around the 1850s, you almost want to have another massive reset in order to hopefully now do away with it. Because right now, if you believe there's 7.5, 8 billion people on Earth, you can't really just all of a sudden wish money away. Because people will still be stuck in that consumerism mindset. The accumulate as much as I can. Feel as safe as I can. Try to control as much as I can.
There might be a plus to that, meaning that it's a unique experience to go through a reset, and money being the tool. We know that money's been abused and everything, but what's the simplest and gentlest way to do this new reset? Well, if somebody else comes up with just a shit ton of like gold, like Benjamin Fulford's secret dragon society, and they've been hoarding gold forever. You know, what would the
Speaking of hoarding gold,
here's the easy way to ease into a reset.
here's one way to do
well,
it. Right?
and then the solution is someone else takes care of.
We got a break coming up, Daz. Hang on 1 minute. Please hang out for a little bit more time, man. It's great to have you here.
We'll
be right back.
That's right. We're going to reset and re-clear the board for hour number 2. We'll be right back. Josh, Walt, and Zach hanging out talking to our buddy
My name
Daz.
is Ella, and I'm 10 years old.
Ella, drink.
I'm one of the millions of children born to parents suffering from the sheeple virus. How dare you! Symptoms include the inability to think for oneself, the attention span of a goldfish, and a strong belief in government and the mainstream media. It is estimated that 1 out of every 2 children are being raised by parents infected with the sheeple virus. But there is a cure. For as little as 19 cents per day, you can become a TFR supporter and help children like me get their daily dose of truth. Together, we will make sure every child has protection from deception.
Trying to hack into the vaccine. I'm Jack Callahan, Fox News. Someone is launching cyber attacks on pharmaceutical companies trying to steal coronavirus vaccine information. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo telling Fox News.
I regret that other countries are, instead of working on the project and using their best minds and talents to solve this problem, are trying to steal it from Western democracies who are making real progress.
The U.S. believes China could be responsible. British intelligence believes the hackers are Russian. There are concerned that Wednesday's Twitter hack may have been more damaging than was first thought.
Twitter said late last night that hackers targeted about 130 accounts during Wednesday's attack that compromised those of many high-profile personalities. But the company says it's not clear if hackers gained access to account holders' private data. The FBI is investigating the attack amid broader concerns. Lawmakers and security experts say the breach is especially troubling ahead of the presidential election, given Twitter's importance as a platform for political discussion.
Fox's Carmen Roberts, a convicted killer, is scheduled to receive a lethal injection at a federal prison in Indiana today. Among Dustin Lee Honkin's 5 victims, a woman and her 2 young daughters, back in 1993, he'd be the 3rd federal inmate to be executed this week. Washington's temporarily nameless football team dealing with a new controversy as 15 women who used to work there claim they were sexually harassed.
According to the Washington Post, the allegations include unwelcome comments of a sexual nature, team executives pressuring female coworkers to wear revealing clothing and flirt with clients in order to close sales deals. Team owner Dan Snyder is not accused of sexual harassment here. 2 executives and a radio announcer named in the report, though, all left the organization days before it was published.
Fox's Rob Schmidt. America is listening to Fox News.
Into the truth frequency. Your protection from deception. This is Truth Frequency Radio.
Good morning. I'm here. Wake up. Wake up. Wake up. Wake up!
What is dark matter?
Okay, we don't know.
That's great. That's why it's called dark.
It's exactly.
Everyone knows all reputable information comes from random people on the internet. Tell me things, internet. The earth is flat. It's like school in your hand.
Okay, dark matter is something we do not know what it is. We believe the dark matter is there, but we have never detected it. Well, what I'm afraid of course, is that there is no dark matter out there.
There was one?
There is no dark matter out there. We need to think really hard, to think really hard, to think really hard, to think really hard.
Yes, science!
Good morning. Good morning.
2. I just missed a call on my cell from Jonathan from Jersey. Been trying to get him on the call.
Right. Well, I saw that you had added him to the call and then never saw him actually in the call. So I figured there must be some kind of technical issue. I just sent that note to you as we were going to the top of the hour. So
Yeah, I don't think he's on that account. I don't think he can remember the password to get back into that one.
I got you.
So I'm trying to get him on a different one.
That's fine.
That made me think of Total Recall. There, the guys wrestling the paper bag. Oh, I think we got static on the line. I can't hear you. It's like got static on the line. And that was the guy from V. Do you remember the end of V? You're not as old as me, but V was the biggest letdown. Why I knew the fucking aliens were controlling this planet, because the coolest guy was sent to the Canadian Resistance. Like, where's this guy? Oh, we sent him to fight in the Canadian Resistance. Okay, we writ you out of the show. Like, that sucks. That's what it made me think of. Anyway, carry on,
That's
gentlemen.
a classic. And trust me, we're all some old dudes here. Well, maybe not all of us, but I am.
Isn't it cool that the real life is really like V and all this other stuff? It's more like that than not. You know, I don't know.
That's
if
what
I
I
live in a
spent the
fantasy world, but
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I mean, I don't know if we're just creating the whole fantasy, and that's super fun too. What if we're all like creating this idea, and the universe is creating the proof for us? You know, it's like I'm looking for giants. It's like, hey, look, someone discovered 9 million gigantic books. It proves giants. I'm like, I haven't even started down that path. I don't even want to know about some of that stuff. But the stuff I do know, it all connects, and it inspires me. And, you know, my
when you're paying
vibration's
attention,
definitely lifted.
all your
questions,
all your questions get answered if you're paying attention.
Man, I
You
spent
throw
the
something out there,
first year of this thing telling, like, why Michelle was like, why are you watching all those videos 24/7? Why don't you leave it alone? I'm like, because I'm in the biggest movie ever. I know there's some kind of lizard creatures ruling over us. There's something been lied to. Man, it's all like I'm the only one that's figured this out. I've got to tell people, and nobody's listening. You're in the best movie you've ever been in.
You got to punch that face, or you punch your friend's face for 10 solid minutes to get him to put the sunglasses
right?
on.
And then, right.
Not just 1 minute, not 2 minutes, but 10 solid, skull-crushing, bleeding minutes of severe pain to really get the point across. And it's worth it.
Well, yeah, didn't Ian Anderson say it? And Skating Away. You don't want to wake up one day and realize that you're the only person that's sitting in the audience. This is your play. This whole thing around you that's happening. And
Did
you're
you
a
have
part
a good
of it.
life enough to base a movie on?
I'm sorry, what was that again?
Oh, it was the Jim Morrison quote. Did you have a good life enough to base a movie on? It's like, I got enough to do a better job than V, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, I just watched it about a month ago. I love that movie. I think that is the greatest plan. His first, well, not blowing up the building so much, but getting control of some kind of system where you could talk to everybody all at once for just a short amount of time. You don't need it forever. People are so accustomed to listening to the television. And until they see it on TV, it will not be real. So in their minds, to make it real, to make them help you manifest this thing you want to do, you need to get your message to all of them at once on that stupid fucking box. That little rectangle that's hanging on their wall.
I hate to be devil's advocate to our main man, Zach, here, but do we need to wake the dreamers? You know, the only time I meditate in this whole past month, and I sat down and tried to and do all that because I study all that stuff, but it just doesn't make any sense. The only time I got a message, it said, "Don't wake the dreamers." And like, okay, cool, whatever. Let people have their own reality and everything. It's like, and maybe everyone doesn't need to be awoken. Like, maybe it only takes Rowdy Roddy Piper and Arnold Schwarzenegger and us, right, to like change it just by sheer force of consciousness or something. We don't need everyone. They're fighting the demons off in their own way. Their own battle of good and evil. But not everyone gets to be Rowdy Roddy Piper, right? We are.
I think the apocalypse is for everyone, though. I think this is going to wake up everybody. And if you don't wake up, those are going to be the people that just go crazy. Their brains will not be able to handle it. The cog-dis will shut it down, and they're going to be walking around. Blah, 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 blah.
Well, I think that's already happening. I think that's what all these triggered Karens and people that have unfortunately committed suicide, and I think that's what's happening is they are seeing that this is way bigger than they thought, and they can't handle it.
Well, I believe we are.
So wait, been joined.
We have been joined, I do believe, by the one and only Jonathan from Jersey.
Bro,
what's going on,
guys? Electromagnetic energy get stronger a second ago.
That's right. The call got heavier. I could feel it.
And it got heavier.
My phone just started like weighing my hand down.
Mm-hmm. My whole table shook.
It's a sign.
It's too much power, Jonathan.
You talked about giants.
What's going on, brother?
Not much. How you guys been?
Howdy.
Not too bad.
You know about giants? You're going to send me down that rabbit hole? I don't know if I can take it.
Don't do it, man. Do not do it. You'll wish you hadn't.
Follow the gingers.
Think about this. They had 12 fingers. We live under a system of 6, 24 hours. What's that about? Why wouldn't it be 10? We have 10 digits. Just saying.
So some of your predictions are coming true, Jonathan.
Yes, indeed.
Which ones? I didn't make any predictions.
What? Not Jonathan. Jonathan doesn't.
You know who you're talking to? We got the right guy?
I'm pretty sure somebody said that money would be gone by the end of the year.
Wasn't me.
I know a show I heard that on.
Cash
So maybe
system.
that meant fiat currency because it sure looks like it's disappearing pretty fast. The whole
Well, you know what? Just last night, I went to the Wawa's to get a $1 coffee. They got that deal going on. And they had a sign saying we need change. So I pull out all the change I had. And I had a $20 bill in one hand, the change in the other. Guy goes, just give me whatever that is. And my thing was like $2 and something. I had like coffee and something and a cookie or something. And they're like, just give me that. And I was like, wow. And if you bring in a roll of coins, like $10 worth, they give you a free something or other. I didn't even read the sign. But no, that's the first step, right? It's that slow movement toward.
Banks cannot order coins right now, at least in the state of Florida.
Yeah, no,
I'm not sure where else. I'm sure it's everywhere. Yeah.
You know what I really
Bank
think?
Can't get coins.
You know what I think that's. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I think we're overlapping, but I was going to say I think it's a component of something that happened back during the. It started during the Clinton administration with a ton of currency being floated around the world, like fake currency, before this new RFID currency got produced. Do you know about this?
No.
No.
I mean, for a while they stopped actually publishing the M2 report on how much money was being created every year, but they were flooding the world market with like trillions of dollars, which were basically like counterfeit dollars. They weren't going through the proper measures against bonds and people buying our debt and everything else, and I think that's part of it.
Gotcha.
I think there's another component to this, though. I mean, I hate to, whatever.
Oh, go ahead.
Okay, I used to be a manager of an arcade back in the late 90s, and we dealt in pounds of coins. Not our tokens, but the coins that were brought into us. Think about all the washaterias that shut down. Think about all the casinos that shut down, dude. The casino coinage that's still sitting in a casino vault somewhere right now because they can't deal with it or the bank won't deal with it or all the crazy COVID shit. Because the casino here where I used to work, it's over. It's done. They just laid off 280 people. It's been closed for months. Their soft reopened and went belly up, it's over. That place is gone. So that, I think, has a lot to do with why the coinage shortage is happening, is that all these places that were not deemed necessary are shut down completely, have a shitload of coins that just are not back in the system.
Well, that's true. But you know what? And like you were saying, if you guys tie it into this whole thing, of course, with COVID and what that's about, this whole military op, I mean, first they're getting everybody conditioned to wear masks, right? And part of that conditioning, of course, is to not react to seeing somebody in a mask, whether it's a bandito mask, right? Because is that where the word bandana comes from, bandito, or vice versa?
I'm not
sure. Maybe so.
But also, like, to see a mask when somebody's coming at you with a needle or vaccination, or the masks that you're going to see similarly worn by SWAT teams, the balaclavas, the full head attire. And so, it's a way of programming. But with it, if we start, if they start controlling the money supply on top of it all, and getting used to everybody to do the digital transactions, it's just one slow push towards the next inevitable. Because I always wondered how they were going to roll out FEMA and everything else, and if people would throw up resistance. But in this method, the way they're doing it, like slowly, month by month, it seems like nobody's even putting up a fight. The sheeple are just getting in line, wearing their masks, and digital IDs and everything else are next.
Do you think it'll be a mark on your hand, like the invisible ink tattoos that people have been talking about? You just go by and scan your hand under a scanner, and you can't see anything on there, but it can, and it can read it.
I mean, it would fucking food stamp cards. What it's going to be.
You think they would have done it by now as a matter of convenience, right? I mean, they did it with like the little things that you wave at the gas pump and other things, those little tabs. There's all different forms of RFID that work effectively if they were just used for that purpose, right? But the idea of like putting something under the skin, under the hand of all things, I mean, it would just, there's going to be too much backlash because of the Bible and the mark of the beast kind of thing. So that would be, obviously stay away from that. But I'll tell you one.
Yeah, I think they'll let it run for a while. They'll do it slow. They'll let it run for a while and show everybody that, hey, we're having so many issues because all these people are stealing people's cards and this and that and yada, yada, yada. We'll just make it so you can't steal it, and we'll put it on your person. You won't be able to see it. Don't worry about it. It'll just be be over.
What I'm really worried about is the next phase of biometrics. Like, forget cell phones. That's now, right? That's the hip thing now. But eventually they're going to keep improving on Google, like what they have with their skull technology, sound, direct sound into your skull, or people that will actually opt for something that's in the optics where you can see it right in front of you floating.
I believe. Sorry.
What's that?
Continue.
What'd you say, Daz?
Dungeons and Dragons thing.
One more time, Daz?
I was saying that in terms of the beaming things into your skull and the dystopian Blade Runner future, I'm going to be a bounty hunter in the dystopian future, but I still believe that you have a veto power over that. I'm just going to alchemically, if they inject me with the mark of the beast, it's like I'll take it because it's my experience, right? It's the water flowing down the stream, but I'll just transmute it. I'll make it inert, or I'll make it work for me. I'll just change the whole experience because it's a neutral circumstance. So the neutral circumstance, I'm just going to have a positive effect because it doesn't matter what the circumstance is. COVID-19, the financial reset, it's like it's going to have a positive outcome. I'm going to get the effect of a positive outcome. My theory is that someone else is going to take care of all this money and banking and finance and everything, and we all get a shit ton of money as a fucking refund and as the gentlest, simplest way to fix the world. And that money's already there. I mean, what happened to all those builders of those fancy mansions? Maybe they went through Antarctica to the other lands, waited out the fucking apocalypse, and then now they're coming back and they see the Babylonian banking system torturing us so that we can have this experience. And now they're just going to dump more gold into the system, yada, yada, and then we'll just be all way better off. It's a possible future. It's a win that you get to be Rowdy Roddy Piper in that future because you won the consciousness war. Okay, I'm done. Over and out. Thank you.
Thanks.
No, that's and you know what? That's positive. That's a great way, to keep optimistic about it and positive. But I got to be honest with you. What I saw, and this is just me personally, my personal discernment or judgment, if you want to call it. The way I've seen people conduct themselves the past 3-4 years of this presidency, Trump, when everybody used to love this guy as far as him being a celebrity on The Apprentice, and, politics aside, every politician is freaking corrupt, all right? So, come on, the two things we know for a fact are corrupt are the U.S. government and casinos. We know that's a scam. And so now we got the perfect guy in office, a guy who ran casinos for a living, right, who owned casinos. So it's, we've always had crooks in the White House is my point, okay? But the thing is this. Even if you flooded gold, right, into the marketplace, even if you corrected the economy, even if you gave everybody an opportunity to have a piece of the pie or whatever, the division I see in this country in terms of personal ideologies, political biases, and everything else, we're just too polar opposite and beyond that. There's so much angst right now with BLM and everything else. I can't see peace happening anytime, regardless of the circumstance that you would bring it about, because of that reason alone. There's still people that believe that these masks are effective. There's still people that believe that vaccines work. There's still people that believe the earth is round. I mean, it just goes on and on and on.
Yeah, not us. We don't believe.
Well, no, I know that, but I'm saying if we could insulate, if people could insulate themselves, or they could, we could create communes or whatever. But the old time America, where we had the same values, that kind of changed as of like 1960. Prior to that, yeah, I'd say it was possible. But I don't see any sense of the new, the new normal isn't even normal. I don't even know what normal is anymore.
Yeah, with all the electrical stuff happening and actual count can see in the sky,
right?
I think there's going to be something big that's going to happen, like huge. It's not going to kill everybody. There'll be, lucky little spots that don't get touched too much.
Sure.
But people talking about the mud flood and, crazy volcanoes and, all this crazy shit that I think that's coming here within the next, 10, 20 years, I think.
And you know what?
The Earth is going to let us.
That would actually unite us the world over. Even if
that's what I'm saying. That's why I think Daz's idea will be possible one day again, because Mother Nature is going to take care of that. She's going to, make all of our priorities the same again. It's
under that circumstance, under that circumstance, I would say absolutely. But if God forbid somebody creates World War III or does something, that country or that person is always going to be revered as the one. There's always going to be an apathy and worse, and an actual hatred. But if it's Mother Nature,
I'll just rewrite history. So after the reset, I'll just rewrite history and say everything was glorious. There's no such thing as war, and everybody get high and fuck and. I'm just going to rewrite it. I'm going to just be the first one to do it, and not going to be some random dude that says, you know what, let's change the shape of the earth. I'm like, it doesn't matter what the shape of the earth is, just be fruitful and multiply. Is my commentary. Go ahead.
Well, that's absolutely true. I mean, you could be an a-hole on any shape of the earth.
Don't I know?
And I didn't just come on to be Mr. Doom and Gloom. I want to make positive predictions going forward, but right now, I got to tell you one, though. Stay away from some of these. People always talk about the rabbit holes, the proverbial rabbit holes, and being red-pilled. I'm always like, stay away from the garden paths. And people are like, what the hell is a garden path? That's when they actually make a clear-cut path in the grass for you to follow. There's so many stories that are surfacing right now that are too distracting. They're too glaringly like, are you serious? This obvious? Giselle Maxwell, what's her name? Whatever her name is. Gazelle, whatever. She gets arrested. Then 2 weeks later, this Wayfair thing comes up, and then 2 weeks after that, the Twitter thing and Chrissy, all these children and shit. No way.
There are cops going down like crazy. Dirty police
What's the Twitter
are
thing?
going down all over the place right now. There's got to be an army of people watching police body cams.
Yeah.
And there are sergeants and sheriffs and captains and chiefs. There's politicians. All getting removed because of their actions in public that people are now, they have proof of. And they don't have to, even if they're not breaking the law, even if they're just being a total ass, that's detrimental to some of these people's careers. And they're being held accountable for their actions now in some ways.
If you want to talk predictions, I put on, that Godlike Productions. That's one of the, it's not even a conspiracy site anymore. It's a goof. But I'd put on their story several times, like, about the list. And they're like, what list? It's like it has all the names of cops, judges, people that are, and it shows where they live, their kids and everything. And that got me kicked out of it so many times that thread got removed. So I just put up a story last night on my Facebook wall. It says, hack of 251 law enforcement websites exposes personal data of 700,000 cops. That's just a small segment of it. Wow. So people are watching.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, people are definitely, it's like the people are fed up with it, and we have this technology now that we can use, that they're using against us, that we are now using in return against them. And it's not like they can turn it off, because then they would look in the wrong to the mob,
Well, Alexander Lightwater in chat says, if 6 equals ego is 666, then total directed ego to outside authority, is that the mark of the beast? Stepping out of that paradigm?
Seems to fit.
I don't know. It seems to me that mark of the beast would put you more under authority rather than less. But I suppose that if we're speaking sort of spiritually, then I don't know.
Let me just say this. I mean, again, not to be pessimistic. I'm just trying to be realistic about what I'm seeing technology-wise and everything. This whole mask thing and keeping people at a social distance of 6 feet away, of course, and I don't know if you guys covered this over the past few months, but so their biometrics and everything like that, including their targeting or triangulation, calibrating their new 5G systems and all that, can be done and track people. Because when you have too many people in a cluster, in a tight cluster, a lot of that stuff can't work, because people are too close, and then it can't recognize. There's even T-shirts you can buy, digitally designed T-shirts, that if a camera's looking at you, it will skip over you because of what it's seeing, like too many sets of eyes on your shirt and so on, and it skips past you. What I'm getting at is, for the longest time, for the past 10, 15 years, I think since 2001, right, since 9/11, they started rolling out those millimeter scanners at the airport, which I always opt for the pat down. And for that, I've always seen it as they've been taking high-resolution scans of our skeletal systems. And as nanoparticulates are delivered, whether through chemtrails or through vaccinations, or however they're going to deliver the rest of it, it's going to adhere to our body. Think like adamantium to Wolverine's, frame, skeletal frame. And now basically what you have are walking RFIDs everywhere with their own unique signature, like an antenna. Really think about that, and then think about
what do they do with that information? So now they can track us all across the world at any time. Is it just that electronic plantation deal? And then, why not just let it happen at that point? Anyway, go ahead. Thank you. It's fascinating.
No, but there was one other aspect to this too. I started noticing, making a personal note of it, that without even saying anything, without even referencing or looking up a particular topic, I would make it a point to think of a random thing every day when I get up and just hold on to that thought. And then at some point proceed to type it in Google. And I swear, as God is my witness, I just typed the word "the," and the entire phrase or whatever it is that I was proceeding to then look up would come out in full, right in Google. And I'm saying to myself, okay, these son of a bitches, they did it. The AI works. This quantum reality is here. And here's the way quantum works. It goes backwards and forwards because it's not reliant on a timeline that's linear. And what I'm afraid of...
I totally agree, man. I 100% understand what you're saying.
Got about 45 seconds left.
Conclusion based on all that. What can we do in terms of hacking our brains and hacking reality, to make the most positive outcome manifest? If you don't mind me asking. Thanks.
Well, I don't mind asking. I'll answer after the break if you want. I think we're going to roll into it, right?
Yeah, we sure are. Just any second now.
Yes, we are. I think Daz is like me. He came here to kick ass, to take names, and he's run out of bubble gum, something like that. Anyway, we will be back. We're talking to Daz. We got Jonathan from Jersey. Zach's here. Josh is here. You're here. I guess
it's a great question too. This is something we should talk about.
Don't forget it. Keep it on your head or on your mind or somewhere. We'll be right back. Right, clear the fear.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. and I'm all out of bubblegum.
Extendivite is more than just a heart tonic. Do you have any of these symptoms? Night cramps in the hands and feet. Your arms and legs often go to sleep. On short walks, do your legs get aches and pains? Is your memory worse than it used to be? Ankles that swell late in the day? Has your blood pressure increased lately? If you answered yes to even one of these questions, you may have early warning signs of arterial blockages. Your body is saying that it is time to take Extendivite. These are not the normal signs of aging. They are the warning signs that accompany blocked arteries. Get your Extendivite today. Extendivite is available in capsule or liquid form for just $69.95 for a 2-month supply. To get started, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822 or visit heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
Okay, nurse, let's get this man to the ER stat.
Right away, doctor.
We see this every day. Heart attack or angina pain due to blocked and clogged arteries. Chelation can remove obstructions or blockages from arteries and help avoid painful and expensive surgery. Now there's Angioprim. It's a liquid oral chelation product that you take with juice. You start to feel the results fast. Angioprim increases blood flow all over the body, and that means more energy and strength to take on the day with less aches and pains. 60 years of research has gone into chelation, and Angioprim is the result. A safe and easy way to unblock your veins and arteries from buildup that slow circulation.
Paging Dr. Jones. Please report to the emergency room right away.
Log on now for a special radio offer from Angioprim. That's angioprim.com/radio. ANGIOPRIM. Angioprim.com/radio or call 877-882-7221. That's 877-882-7221.
For 5,000 years, the world was ruled with wooden ships by one man. 242 years ago, a small group of free men crafted a new nation built on liberty and freedom. Global elites have been fighting to destroy this new nation called America ever since. Based on actual events, Charm of Favor tells a true story of how they corrupted the election system. They infiltrated federal agencies and murdered witnesses, judges, and even presidents to keep from being caught. Now, the largest and wealthiest crime syndicate the world has ever known has been drawn out of the shadows. They have killed hundreds of Americans and recently attempted to assassinate half our congressmen. Still, they escape arrest through an almost supernatural charm of favor. Read Charm of Favor and be prepared to open your eyes to what may lie just around the corner. Charm of Favor is available on Amazon and Barnes & Noble.
You are now tuned into the truth frequency.
Your protection from deception. TLR.
Truth Frequency Radio.
Here's a message of importance to millions of people who are continually pale and washed out, weak and run down. Doctors will tell you that these conditions are often caused by a deficiency of iron. The iron you need to keep you physically fit and mentally alert. Medical studies show that 2 out of 3 women and many, many men lack the daily iron your body requires in a form your body can easily use and put to work. dose gives you more than your daily minimum iron requirement.
We are awake, we are aware, we are not alone. We are striving for more.
So if you're not getting the iron your body needs, if you feel weak, run down, and are easily upset, start taking iron today.
Wake up. Welcome back. Fourth and final segment of the Ironworx right now. Josh, Walt, and Zach just hanging out, chit-chatting with our buddy Daz.
Hello.
Call in on the flatline. Hey.
Before we forget, Daz, tell everybody where to find some of your work, to see it, look at it.
Nowhere. I shut everything down. I killed myself off. I finally freed myself from the electronic plantation of thinking that you're going to get fucking famous by putting your shit on the internet and buying. I bought 50 million domain names and 9 trillion websites. You know, I did the search engine optimization. I got hundreds of people to go to my art blog back in the day when that was actually a thing. I got hundreds of people to go every day because I gamed the system by putting a giant list of every artist I could find, but it didn't amount to anything. I got famous a couple of times. I was in Mashable with this is the greatest blog in the world, and that type of thing. 10 cool blog people, and and it's well, we haven't seen everything. It may not be the greatest thing in the world, but it's definitely the biggest blog in the entire universe or something. And I'm I just had a lot to say. And so I've had these 15 minutes of fame. I was in Colored Pencil magazine randomly. And the Van Gogh Museum liked to post on my thing. I'm the Van Gogh Museum, man, I'm cool. And no one ever sent me any email or call or nothing. It's it just amounted to nothing. And I spent all this time making these websites and shit. It just doesn't fucking work. So I'm dead. It's I was unemployed, right? I got fired. And so I'm shutting all my shit down. I don't need Netflix. There's nothing good on there anyway. And I just let my website lapse. But at the same time, now suddenly I'm doing giant murals in my garage that are grand and really making me stoked. So I'm making it a real business. I made a Yelp thing. I haven't done anything. I just literally created the possible universe where the waves might collapse into. But I don't even care. It's everything's just carrying me along. And it's I'm doing this without even thinking. It's just one synchronicity. It says, hey, do this. And I do it, and it's wow, that was cool. It's I couldn't have picked a better outcome. And it's and I didn't even think about it. It's the Alan Watts Zen not thinking, let's be like water type thing. But it seems to work. Anyway, I rant. Go ahead.
We are also talking to our buddy Jonathan from Jersey, with whom we've not spoken in several months. I guess just right after all the craziness started.
I don't even know how to follow that.
We love Daz. It's a damn shame because I really enjoyed looking at a lot of his artwork. There's got to be some. I might even have some saved
I remember it on
somewhere.
Twitter. Is where I saw it. Was on Twitter when you and I started hanging out back in the day. Truly, I don't think I've seen you active on Twitter in a year or two.
Yeah, but I'm just thinking you brought me on the wrong day, man. I'm this guy's sunshine and rainbows, and I'm thunderstorms and nuclear bombs. I mean,
that's dichotomy. I love it.
I'm that kid, that kid on the back of the little kid that's taking a piss on the back of bumpers and stuff. They put him on their windshield tags.
Calvin.
And so it says no fear.
Calvin, yeah.
Yeah, Calvin, whatever. Yeah, that's me today. So this is too great a dichotomy.
Hey, you're totally fine, man. You're totally fine. You're keeping us in the Art Bell vibe. It's like I totally get it. I know where you're coming from. I like that energy. It adds spice to my life. It's enjoyable to be in a pending post-apocalyptic world and everything. And it's like I need a little bit of that dark side. It's like I'm not all sunshine and rainbows all the time, but I mean, if I can be, I am. But today this is how the energy is being distributed, and your trip is just as cool as mine. Okay, over and out.
Nice.
I don't want to talk negative, man. I like this guy's vibe. I mean, what am I going to say? I'm not going to say.
You'll be smiling before it's over with, ass.
Hey, Jonathan, you ever heard of a fella named Jerry Marzinski?
Yeah, why does that name ring a bell?
He is
Is he a UFO guy?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
He is
Go ahead.
therapist. He's a psychotherapist that worked almost exclusively with paranoid schizophrenics and got to comparing stories and connecting dots with some of the things going on with these paranoid schizophrenics and the voices that are talking to them.
Right.
And all of psychiatric medicine is telling him these are just hallucinations, random firings of the neurons in their brain. But he's noticing a very distinct pattern. It's all negative. The voices never tell them, nice things.
Right.
And they're coherent, cohesive thoughts. And the more he got to talking to these paranoid schizophrenics, and the more bits of information he was able to gather and gain their trust, the more they would open up about these voices. And he had people telling him about voices directing them on which houses to rob. And he did it for months and didn't get caught until he got greedy and didn't listen to the voices and went and robbed this house that they told him not to. And he got busted and went to jail. And that's where he was actually having this conversation.
This guy, Jerry whatever. Wait, say his name again?
Jerry Marzinski.
Marzinski. Maybe I'm thinking of somebody else. But you're saying that this guy, Jerry Marzinski, he first took it on as a project to examine these people, but then he was somehow able to tap into it?
Well, tap into it, into the fact that there were times that the voices that the paranoid schizophrenics were hearing wanted to speak directly to him. They had things to say. But he was able to actually...
That reminds me of a story I heard of this guy one day. He was walking past this pig farm, and he seen this dude, this really dirty dude, talking like he had Tourette's, and then he said, "Here, come here." And he told him, "Hey, get the hell out of here." And then the friggin' thing came out of the dude and went into the pigs and went over the cliffs.
Well, check this out.
I saw that one too. It was awesome. I'm totally into that. I'm the number one fan.
That's exactly what it reminds me of. But go ahead. What were you going to go with that?
Well, there's this gal that I know.
Is he a flat earther?
No.
No.
No, because these spirits seem to know things, but they never know anything relevant. Like anything that's important. Like, did we actually land on the moon? We don't know, but we can tell you this.
Well, there was a story about it's.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, there's a similarity between this and the things, the delusions, the paranoid delusions that come along with excessive amounts of methamphetamine.
Okay.
So there's this sort of shared delusion, like an ayahuasca trip or a DMT trip. It's a shared psychosis, essentially, about these shadow people. They're like three-dimensional shadows that can take form in front of you. And these are
okay. I'm following you. I totally got it.
And there's a correlation between the shadow people that these. Because when you use this meth for excessive amounts of time, apparently from what Jerry Marzinski says, that, you might start to get into that psychosis and see these shadow people and, you start to sober up, you come down and they're gone. You're like, wow, that was fucked up.
So wait. Are you saying like cisgens and all these other people in like Black Lives Matter, these things want equal representation now? Is that what you're leading to?
No.
I'm sorry.
Like I said, those people don't ever even enter my brain.
No, I'm being funny. I figure everybody's stepping up, so there's going to be somebody. This guy's going to be championing the shadow people.
Well, we're having Jerry on tonight.
Oh, that's awesome.
So
I could pick on him directly, but I won't. No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm totally going to listen.
Yeah, I just think it's going to be
I'm
really
definitely
exciting.
gonna listen.
It's so he's basically saying that these are not just random hallucinations for paranoid schizophrenics, but there's an actual connection to something more sinister.
No shit. These are probably the things that like control the Ouija board too, and everything else.
And everything else
And
that makes it scary in the dark.
I mean, what part of that 2,000-year-old book that you can use for toilet paper if you don't understand it, don't you get about things that, we don't know about, principalities and stuff in the air and things that we shouldn't mess with.
A guy named Solomon that seemed to have a handle on them. Just say it.
The only reason I say it that way is because literally there's people that don't understand. It's not just a book. Like when you really connect with it, look, it's like any journey, right? If you don't have the proper tools, you don't know how to use them. If you don't know how to use sage, right, you won't be able to do certain ceremonies, whether it's Native American or this and that. If you don't have the Holy Spirit in you or you haven't connected with God, then it's not a living Bible. It's just a book like any other. Do you understand? And even the Old Testament's like different. That's the first 5 books of the Pentateuch, the Torah, are separate from what the New Testament follows. And all I'm saying is, they told us this stuff. They told us about not to mess with, and yet people still mess with it. So I think it's amazing that this guy actually looked at this objectively and really started experiencing it. Is that what you're saying? Like
yes, he did indeed come up with some stuff. He started seeing that shaman could affect what was supposed to be psychosis and just different things.
Well, let me just say this one thing. Wait, real quick. I've been telling people the past couple of months, and I put this in my book too about my own journeys and stuff, that I claim to know nothing book. And by the way, that got pushed out to November because of this COVID crap. But I said a lot of times, I believe 9 times out of 10, if people don't have their experiences arrested and they're going through either a manic phase, schizophrenia, whatever, if they're allowed to follow it out to its natural conclusion and kept in a safe environment to do so, they'd probably get over their problems. The same way like vets that have PTSD, they're given mushrooms or an ayahuasca treatment that supposedly, raises their depression, gets them out of it because they get to, finish the process, whatever their brain is having a problem with, where it's on that skip, like almost like a record needle. And unfortunately, the pharmaceutical industries and all that, they arrest people's spiritual emergence a lot of times when they should be, does that make sense?
Like they're helping it skip, keeping them in that state of mind. When, right. Like you said, all they need is to release that. And it's hard to do when you're fully conscious. It's hard to do on DMT even, to let all that go. But once you do, it's life changing. I don't know how else to
look at the movie Altered States. Look at the movie Altered States. He had to take his research private and carry it out to its final conclusion, and go outside the boundaries of what the lab would allow in order to, if you ever seen that movie.
I saw it many times. Read the book. Patty Chapsky's book is amazing.
It's also like Looker. Do you remember the '80s, that movie Looker, where they're like
with the light gun,
people onto a set?
Yes.
Yeah, you shoot them with a light gun and time freezes. For them, they get into like a catatonic state. Is that the one? Can you hear me?
I'm not sure. I've never seen. I know Rick does that to Morty all the time.
With the light guns. I'm pretty
sure. It was 1982. Yeah, they had a light gun.
82, something like that. Yeah.
That was a great movie.
Looker. I mean, it was kind of ahead of its time in terms of tech. It's like now we just take it for granted with CGI, right? But that was like before or the beginnings of CGI, where they could say, we can change your reality and you won't be able to tell the difference, and we can enhance it and put scary messages and mind control you. The CIA did it. The CIA did the mud flood. I'm here to tell you this. That's my message. The CIA caused the mud flood. Okay, I am good now. I have served my purpose. Thank you, Lord.
I'm just curious though. What brought this guy Jerry Marzinks? Because you're going to have him on tonight.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. I'm going to tune into that. I can't wait to hear what this guy has to say, because this is going to be some spooky crap.
Yes, sir. Indeed, it will. It's pretty insane, some of the stuff he's experienced. And, I mean, he's been at this a while. This didn't just start. This has been something he's been deep into. So,
I'm looking at a picture of him right now.
I knew a girl who had experiences with these shadow people. She and somebody that they were with could see them in a mirror. when they were coming down many years ago. Yeah. Totally messed them both up. I mean, this was probably 10 years later she was telling us this and was shaken still.
Let me just say this. I won't mention her name on air, obviously, but you know who I'm going to talk about. But I was with her for a couple of years, and she would see things, and we'd be standing there in the shower together, and I'd literally see claw marks just appear across her back. You want to talk to somebody who can see?
Dude, you just brought chills up because I've seen the same fucking thing.
Yeah, you want to talk to somebody who saw dark entities, and whenever I was in bed with her, like shit would happen. Like, I'm not missing that.
I had one hold me down on the bed. Like, I didn't know what was going on. I thought I was having a heart attack at first because of the weight on my chest, but then it moved down my legs. It was all like, I couldn't get up. It wasn't like, I didn't know what it was. I couldn't move. Nothing would let me up until it finally, man.
You sound like you had the old hag sitting on you, and I had the same thing, and my head was being pressed into the foam. We had a foam topper, 8 inches, and I'm trying to make noise, trying to wake myself up, and I'm paralyzed. And she's laughing. I hear her laughing because I'm making this noise like Tarzan. It's like, oh, and I'm trying to get her attention. And she finally flips on the light, and she freaked. She screamed because my head was pressed into the actual bed. And she said my body was above it. And she goes, it looked like somebody's hand was on my head. And as soon as she shook me out of it, like the depression, I came right out of the bed.
Was it cathartic?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say when I was, 7, 8, something like that, I was in my cousin's room, and I woke up in the middle of the night, and I looked at the closet right there. It was open, and there was a street light out there, and there was, trees and stuff and shadows all over the wall. Well, I saw this one, and it looked like a guy with a top hat on, and he was like looking the other way, and I was like, still out of it, just woke up for a second, and I looked, and I was like, wow, that's weird. I've never noticed that shadow before, because I've laid in that spot 100 times. And I looked up, and all of a sudden the thing like turned its head and looked right at me. And then it like slunk back down into the shadow of the closet, and I just closed my eyes, and it didn't really freak me out too bad. It didn't like mess with me. Yeah. But when I mentioned it to my cousin the next day, he said, dude, I don't want to talk about it. He's like, I know, I don't want to talk about it. And that's all he said. And this was like my best friend till I was 35, something like that, 33. We lived in the same town and everything. We're together all the time. And yeah, that's the only thing he ever said about it. And I tried to bring it up one more time when we were older, and he was like, I don't want to talk about it.
So wait, when you talk to this guy tonight, ask him if you can, because I used to tease people. If you can, not tease people, I meant it actually. If you can see them and you let them know that you see them, like they can then see you even clearer.
Yeah,
it's almost like I know that you know that I know that you're there.
Once they realize that you can see them, once you give them that attention,
you've got one.
They start to approach you.
Yeah,
it's that when you give them attention, it like draws them to you.
Yep. Well, that's why.
Hey, I have a question. When you're ready, I have a question about this, spirit stuff.
All right, real quick, Des, I have one for you.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Did you used to hang out with a guy named Brian from Independent News or something?
I don't know, maybe. I
love that answer.
Oh wow.
That
says it all.
More people than I can remember.
Well, Candy is in the TFR chat and had asked like 15 minutes ago.
Well, when was it? It would have been like, over 10 years ago. It would have been like 15 years ago.
Do you know a guy named Brian from Brokeback, Wyoming?
Well,
you're from Earth.
It's interesting we have this conversation given the Tuesday show where we had Connie and Donnie just happened to be friends with Lamar out there in Perry, Florida. So,
and shout out to Connie. She's in chat, or she was, and she had said if we wanted her to call in, we definitely would have opened the line to her. But as she sees, we've had quite the full show. It's so awesome that Daz finally got to talk to us, and we haven't talked to Jonathan in forever. Miss you, my buddy.
Oh,
so glad you both got to hang out, man. And I'm excited indeed about Jerry being here because I've had quite a few experiences with you, show people.
Hey, I'm literally living my best life, and it's nice that you guys are part of it, so thank you.
Well, right back at you,
Nice.
Daz.
Thank you, Daz. Absolutely, man. And I'm so glad that things have worked out as they have for you these past few months. And enjoy your slippery slide down the mud hole, my friend, for damn sure.
I hope it lasts.
We are
I'm
coming
afraid it's peaked. I'm afraid that I've got the most out of the experience. It's like next season on Lost, it's like I know what's going to happen. Yeah. And then there's going to be a coffee cup in the final scene. I'm like, wait a minute. This is, like Game of Thrones or something where they just phoned it in. They let the intern write. It's like, I don't want that to be the end of the whole mudslide. I'd rather not know the answer and just stretch it out for the rest of my life. I don't want to find out the CIA did it. That's my least favorite outcome. The CIA did it. It's all a mind op. You're a battery in a thing, Neo. Like, well, fuck it. Who cares then? Why bother to wake up? It's like, it's my experience. I'd rather have it a little more exciting.
That's real quick to answer that question from before we went into break. That's what I was saying. I think the quantum is coming backwards in time. Some of the things that quantum, these quantum AI are doing, and it's basically just slipping us invisibly into the future. So it's going to be like a slipstream. You're not even going to see it, the overlay, when you were inserted into the whole time loop.
That's it. I'm not a merry man. Sorry. It's like time loops. That's my next favorite thing. And time travel.
Right.
It's like all these old buildings. Maybe you can time travel or teleport.
Wait, I gotta ask, Daz, are you familiar with the man who folded himself?
Yeah, I did on your recommendation. I got the audiobook and it was great. And then it's like, hey man, I'm not that enlightened. The guy's like, they're fucking himself, and I'm like, it got uncomfortable. It's like I'm squeamish. Yeah, I have delicate ears.
An amazing book.
I literally
Jonathan's
couldn't take
familiar.
it. I'm like, it's too weird. It's too folded. You can only fold a piece of paper so many times for you. Yeah, it's like Inception, right? The movie Inception. It's like I can't even bring myself to see it. It's like it's great special effects and everything. But yeah, it's just too I don't even want to put the brain power into figuring that out. It's like that's why I don't want to put the brain power into figuring out why Donald Trump did whatever. I don't care. I literally don't care. It has no effect on me. I mean, you just look out your window. That David Hicks bit where it's like, war, famine, pestilence. The TV tells you all this terrible stuff, and then you look out your back window, and it's just birds chittering, and the cucumber patch, and and the glorious tree with a squirrel running on it. It's like that's literally reality. It's like I'm living that day, So all I got to do is not watch the news, and it's great. I mean, if they're gonna kill me, if the lizard men are gonna probe my ass and then stick a mark of the beast, then fuck it. I'm gonna live my life the best way I can up until that point. I'll try and fight them off, and I think I'm the good guy, but I'd rather live in delusion, than live in somebody else's dystopian idea of reality. I live in my own idea of reality. Sorry if I was ranty.
Nope. Amen to that. We've only got about 60 seconds left. I just wanted to thank you so much for coming and calling in, hanging out with us this morning, Daz. It's been an absolute pleasure. I hope you do it again very, very soon.
Absolutely, brother. Love you. Don't let this be a one-off. For sure, come back and see us.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much free at this point. Yeah, I can do this at any show.
Sweet.
Awesome. Jonathan, same to you, man. It's good to have you back in the mix. I had been questioning about where you've been. I figured something was up with all the craziness in the world. Glad things are okay.
Yeah, you too, man. You sound good. It's good hearing your voice.
Good. Love you all. Thank you all.
Yep. We will see you right back here on Tuesday for who knows what, because we are letting the space lettuce pile build. Anyway, love you. Be good. Be well. Bye-bye.